Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandy. So back at another Card Fight Vanguard deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get started, shall we? Today we have Aqua Force, Cobalt Wave, Dragony. Cobalt Wave. I cannot say I liked its original version. In fact, I cannot say I used its original version at all because I know I didn't, and I didn't even know it was a card until it was announced for V, and then I checked it out and I was like, oh, there is an original version of that thing, it's so cool. And then I looked at its skill and I was like, yeah, it can make sense why I don't know what it is. But then when they put it into V, Cobalt has actually become one of my favorites. Like, I love its art, and I really can't wait to buy it and feel how it, or like see how it feels, because I think it would feel really good on the hands. And we all know I'm not going to use sleeves because that's how I roll. And its skill is I would change one thing about its skill if I could, but I would change one thing about every skill if I could. It's just that this one, I think I would just change how it's used instead of what it actually does. So let's go ahead and get this deck profile started, shall we? First up today, we have our starter in Blow Bubble Dracokid, grade 0 boost, 10k shield, 6k base. Auto is rolled upon, draw a card, then if your opponent's Vanguard grade 1 or good, you get a quick shield ticket to your hand. Basically, if neither of you get grade locked, you draw and you get a quick shield if you win second, which is really nice. Standard 5k shield with the quick shield, which you're probably just going to use for discard fodder, and the draw, which you might top deck off of, who knows. The reason why, you can run any starter you want. You really could, as long as it has that ability. But the reason why I run Blow Bubble Dracokid is because our main grade 3 and our backup grade 3 are both dragons. You want to carry that dragon theme as long as you can. So I put Blow Bubble as the starter. Granted, I don't think I know the grade 2 has a dragon. I don't think the grade 1s have a dragon, but I'm at least make the starter a dragon since I can. So Blow Bubble Dracokid, you can be any starter, but I prefer this one. Plus he's also my favorite just in general with all the Aqua Force starters. Or at least in V, because there's one in Premium that I value way more than I value this thing. Trigger lineup: 2 draws, regular draws, in Pyroxene Communication Sea Otter Soldier, 2 regular fronts in Dolphin Soldier of High Speed Raids. Why did I say it like that? Then 4 more fronts in Enemy Seeking Seagull Soldier, and then 4 draw PG in Emerald Shield Paschal, grade 0 boost, 0 shield, 5k base, draw trigger 2 Sentinel, 4 Sentinels in your deck, and auto guard circle when placed. Discard a card from your hand, and one of yours cannot be into the battle, and a heal and activate Dracokid. If you want to know why we're not running Heal Guardians, go check out a video from 5 weeks ago, and you pretty much get a good explanation of it. But if you want to know the miniature explanation, it is they are detrimental to my playstyle, and I refuse to play them because I also don't like them. But on to why we do our trigger lineup the way we do. This deck. Okay, first off, and I'm gonna jinx it by saying it, I know I am, but regardless of what deck I've used so far in Aqua Force, whenever I put Paschal into it, I drive check this motherfucker so often. I don't know why he likes to get drive checked for me, he just does. And I know I'm jinxing it by saying that, but still. And then the fronts, you know, add extra power, especially because how Cobalt works when your Vanguard swings most likely going to be the end battle, except for maybe 1 or 2 others, and those are going to be extremely weak. So the front triggers help pump up those 1 to 2 remaining attacks to make them slightly stronger. And the draws are to help you get hand cards. You can make sure you get constant multi-attack out and then make Cobalt Wave even stronger. If you don't know what I mean by that, pause this video and go find Cobalt Wave on the internet and figure out what it does. Or you could just wait till the end of this video to find out what Cobalt does. Or you could just skip to this video and figure out where Cobalt is and then watch that segment. Either way, of all the convoluted bullshit, I like this lineup of 6 draws and 6 fronts just because it's consistent. You do not need crits, because the last thing that's going to be attacking is most likely Cobalt, and the only other thing that would attack probably doesn't need it, so, or wouldn't be helped by it. So yeah, that's my lineup: 6 fronts, 6 draws. Grade 1 time: 3 copies of Light Signals Penguin Soldier. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base. I love the dual lightsabers of this thing. I hate the penguin though. Active rear guard, Restless unit when one of your units is in the same combats, I get +5 for the turn. The ability I never use because I constantly forget it exists. Or to be exact, the turn before, I always think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna remember, gotta rest this and give the unit in front of it +5. I always think of that, and then the turn where I'm actually supposed to do it, I completely forget about it till like the 4th battle where its second effect goes off, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot about it, didn't I? And then I realize it's still standing. Yep, I forgot about it. This one's on me, I'm just dumb. And then auto rear when your other unit attacks. If it's the 4th battle of that turn, retire it, and countercharge 1. Okay, so there are pluses and minuses to that. 1, you know, he can turn himself into a 5k booster, which is a minus, but you know, you can use it for countercharging of later purposes if you want to attack in a certain order with the unit in front of it. And it can also boost a Vanguard power with that skill too. Downside is, for its countercharge effect to go off, it has to go specifically during the 4th battle, and after the 4th battle or before it, it won't go off. So There are pluses and minuses to it, but in the case where countercharge, granted, is a rare problem, is still a problem nonetheless. So the light signals Penguin Soldier countercharge ability are restrictive. Is still a good welcomed addition. So 3 though of Influent Dagger. I swear this thing comes in and out of my decks, always out of 4 of. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 7k base. Auto rear when it attacks a Vanguard. Sorry, when your unit attacks a Vanguard, and it's the third battle of that turn or more, it gets +3 for the turn. Okay, you may not think that's special and all, right? But you see, in this deck, you're gonna get like, how many attacks do I often get with this deck? 2, 4. Okay, yeah, I typically get like 4 attacks. If I really try hard, I can hit 5 or 6 attacks before my Vanguard swings. And if you don't know what the Vanguard does, I'm just gonna spoil it. He can switch columns. So, since 2 of them are going to be useless afterwards, assuming that I went full tryhard, 4 plus 10, I mean plus 12. So this is a 19k swing. That's pretty good, actually. Or a 19k booster, because it can work while it's boosting as well. So as long as your unit attacks the Vanguard, regardless if it's itself or another unit, it's going to get that power. And it will keep getting that power as long as it's over the third battle, or over the second battle at least. So 4 copies of Influent Dagger, because it can become a really strong booster and an extra attacker when you need it to, at every inconceivable moment, as long as you're on Cobalt, or it can even work with the backup grade 3, so 4 copies of Wheel Assault, our last grade 1. The Beautiful Moon. You know what's funny? I hate this card too. I hate its art with a burning passion. As much as I love normally when waves split, this one just makes it look horrible, but I love the moon. We all know I'm biased towards this card solely because of that and nothing else. So, auto rear, at the end of the battle that it boosted, choose 2 of your rear guards, you may exchange their positions. You will never use that ability in your life. I promise you. You call this for an early rush? I mean, you may use it on occasions where you're just trying to get more attacks and make Cobalt hit a very certain number, but otherwise I don't see you using that ability. But the main ability you will use it for is auto when it's wrote upon, counterblast 1 to draw a card and call a card from hand to rear guard. Okay, yeah, this deck does have a semi-counterblast problem, unless you're just spamming Seagull Soldier every turn, but get an extra rear guard when you ride if you went first, netted yourself a draw 2. Just to get extra rush out on grade 2 turn while your opponent's still at grade 1, or just do a grade 2 rush and just call something in front of it. Yeah, Wheel Assault can be helpful in that regard. He definitely is one of my favorite cards in terms of the on-road upon abilities, and I do think he is extremely useful. I give him a 4 and he's obviously the main grade 1 ride target, as the other 2 don't have Vanguard abilities. Next up is 3 copies of Terrific Coil Dragon, the thing that I question how broken it is. Grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 9k base, auto rear once per turn when it stands by a card's ability, regardless if it's its own or something else. You may have this unit get +5 for the turn. Okay, so 5k, that doesn't sound like much for just a simple restand in an Excel deck where a trigger will shut it down. But then when you consider its other ability, which is auto rear, when it attacks, if it's the first battle that turn only, Soul Boss 1 to stand this unit. So if you don't know what that means this can swing on rear into a grade 3 that has 13k base. Soul Blast, stand, because it's still swinging, and because it stood, gets +5. This is a guaranteed hit on every grade 3 that has a normal base power. Terrific Coil is really good. It is literally the best first swing of the turn. It is so easy to get a +5. If only it wasn't a once per turn, then it'd be a lot better, but it's still really good. I love its art. That skill has saved me on many occasions and has allowed me to do multiple attacks each turn for a very cheap ass cost. 3 copies of Terrific Coil, and I pity anyone who has ever seen me use it, because anyone who has ever seen me use it has probably either died to Tetra Drive or has died to this deck, which is very deadly. 3 copies of Tidal Assault, grade 3 twin drive 5k, not grade 3, grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 9k base. I don't know where the fuck grade 3 came from. Auto rear once per turn when it swings into something, Soul Boss 1 to stand it, and if it's the second battle that turn or more, it loses 5. So we have 2 swingers for first battle, except this specifies it has to be during first battle. This one, you can stand it whenever, but if you stand it outside of the first battle, it will lose power, which is the unfortunate half. But I think it's okay losing the power if you're doing it just to do multi-attack, or if you can hit regardless because maybe you got big numbers. Either way, Tidal Assault is a nice grade 2 to have, as Soul is a lot easier to come by in this deck than Counterblast, unless you are constantly spamming both this and this literally every single turn. So 3 copies of Tidal Assault, because it can help increase numbers, and it's very easy to use. 3 copies of Coil, the thing that fixes the soul problem, and arguably it should be at 4. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 9k base, continuous rear guard. During the battle of the attack, if you have 4 more other units in rest, it gets plus 15. Yeah, that's really easy to pull off in this deck, because 2, the other column that swings, and most likely will be boosted, and then this, easy 15. Actually, no, this has to be boosted too, but still, easy 15. And then auto rear at the end of the turn, if the total number of attacks you made this turn were 4 or more, shove to soul, draw a card. Cool. Nets you a soul, gets you a draw for only 4 attacks, which is literally guaranteed to happen if you did either of the 2 restanders here, and there's a third one right after this, or not right after this, but after this. And not to mention, it's an easy 15k for a 24k swing, and you boosted one of these Influent Daggers, assuming that it's the 4th battle. This would be plus 6, so 13, 37. 3 of really good card. Hits for numbers, get your soul, get your hand cards, all without paying a single bit of cost. 3 of. 3 copies of Tier Knight Valeria. I hate her art so much. Or to be more exact, I love the background. I love the shit out of the water wings here. But I hate this as a card. Like, this right here, the whole entire card itself is ruined. I'm not saying it can't be a girl. No. That's not why I hate it. I just, compared to everything else, it just looks so underdone. That's my opinion on it. Anyways, can choose rear guard during the battle they attacked. If it's the 4th battle that turn or more, gets plus 10. Okay, easy 19k, like I said with a Coil Assault, not that hard. And auto Vander rear when it swings, when its attack hits. If it's a 3rd battle that turn or more, choose an opponent's rear guard, kill it, and if it's a 4th battle that turn or more, draw a card. Cool. Vanguard or rear guard ability that can use be kill rear guard, nice. And a 4th battle ability they'll allow you to draw a card. Not to mention the plus 10, which can make it real easy. So 3 of. It has no counterblast or soul blast cost whatsoever. Doesn't get you restand, but it does interrupt your opponent's board and maybe helps you set up for next turn. And it can hit a decent number, so its other ability will go off. 3 copies of Valeria. 4 copies of our last grade 2 being Marine General of the Restless Tides, Algos. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 9k base. Auto Van when it swings into something if it's a 2nd battle that turn or more. Counterblast 1, soul blast 1, stand one of your rear guards. Okay, you're not really going to use that. I remember when I first got it, in the trial deck, I tried using that ability so many times. It wasn't worth it. It was better just to keep it in hand and then use it for the next turn on grade 3, because god, that ability. Counterblast 1 and a soul blast of 1 just to stand another rear guard. As much as I love standing rear guards, that was more painful than actually not standing the rear guard, knowing I could have. But then auto rear, when it attacks, if it's the 1st battle that turn, counterblast 1, stand it. Easy cost. Like, I mean, you know, if you're running out of soul because maybe you haven't seen Coil Assaults or maybe you've just been spamming these 2 motherfuckers every turn, use Algos. I mean, obviously, if it's between Algos and Coil, go Coil, please, unless you are actually out of soul, because Cobalt costs a counterblast, but if you're out of Coil, go Algos over here, because he's a nice replacement for it. So 4 copies of Algos. It can get you a restand, whether it's on Vanguard or Rear Guard, and it can make for a nice grade 2 rush. And it's like Coil. Just slightly worse, in my opinion. But it has a Vanguard ability, so it gets a free pass here. 4 of. And then up to grade 3s. 2 copies of our backup grade 3, the Trial Deck Boy, Naval Gazer Dragon, grade 3 Twin Drive Excel Gift, 12k base, Auto Van when it swings, if it's the 3rd battle that turn or more, counterblast 1, stand a rear guard, and one of your units gets plus 10 for the battle. I really wanted to use Hydro Hurricane because I think it looks cool, but god, I hate its effect so much. So I just chose Naval Gazer, who we all know I was going to pick anyways because it has standing abilities and I'm biased towards those. So, you know, really nice stand, and he can give himself plus 10, so unless they're a Force Gift grade 3 that got a damage trigger, this is at least a 10k drop now, so for a 1 to pass. So 2 copies of Naval Gazer, or for them it's a 10 to 1 to pass. For other decks that's a protect or Excel deck, it's a 15k for a 1 to pass. Either way, Naval Gazer is really good, gets himself power, gets you a restand, all for only the cost of a counterblast, and it's the 3rd battle or more that turn. Literally, you just have to swing with the unit you're going to stand, and then swing with literally anything else, even if it hits or not, and then just swing with this, boom, you hit your 3rd battle. 2 copies of Naval Gazer. You don't want to see it too often, but you do want to see it at least a bit. And then 4 copies of literally the best looking card in this deck, in my opinion, and the only reason why I wanted to build this deck in the first place. 4 copies of Cobalt Wave Dragony. God, I love that art. Let's appreciate it real quickly. We got the explosives in the background. We got that sword in his hand, but I prefer to consider that like a part of his arm just attached. I don't know how to describe it, but like a drill kind of thing. I don't know what the fuck was happening with my mouse there. And then he's got another one down here. Those wings are beautifully drawn. We've got just the beauty of water just flowing around him. I think that's a typhoon or two in the background. Yes, I love this thing's art so much. Auto Van, when your rear guard attacks, is +5 for the turn. That is inherently the most underwhelming skill you've ever read when you consider Aqua Force standing abilities. But then you remember, wait, if the rear guards can stand themselves, that's a lot of power, because on average, swing with your front row, most likely one of them will have an ability to restand, so that's an immediate +20 to Vanguard. So before it even swings, it's already hitting for 32. So that's really good. For the cost of maybe either a Counterblast or a Soul Blast, it is already hitting for 32. Just once. Cool, that's easy. And then Auto Van, when it attacks into anything, Counterblast want to perform all the following according to this unit's power. 25k or more, almost guaranteed in this deck, gets a crit. 30k or more, also almost guaranteed in this deck. You may switch all rear guards between the front and the back rows. Since it says may, you don't have to do it. But I'm pretty sure if you choose to do it, you have to switch everything, including the boosters. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but get you more attacks, that's why Influent is here. Worst case scenario, you can rely on them unless you want to do what I did with Maelstrom and just place a bunch of grade 3s in the back row and prepare for swinging. And 35k or more, the one that is barely out of reach. Like, for the record, you can use Terrific Skill, use it to restand, cool, swing with it twice, then swing with maybe Tidal Assault and not restand, then swing with Coil Assault or this thing, and then swing with this thing, boom, it's at 32, literally one attack short of the 35k ability. If you really want to go try hard for this, you gotta use Tidal Assault with either Algos or Terrific Coil over here, but it's worth it because the last ability is all your front or rear guards get +10 for the turn. If you want to go try hard for this, go try hard for this. Best part is, all of these abilities activate regardless of what grade your opponent's Vanguard is at. Which means, if you play this right, while they're at grade 2, and let's just assume they're an Excel deck at 9k base, this thing could be at 37k with double critical, you have 3 more attacks left. Oh wait, no, this thing also got oh no, it didn't get +10. Yeah, 37k with double critical, and you have 3 more attacks left most likely, and they all have +10. Yeah. We can all see how Cobalt's good, right? Like, power, crit, all that stuff. The only thing that is missing, what I wish the middle ability was, instead of switching all the front row, back row, rear guards, as much as I find it interesting, I really wish it was just stand a column or stand a rear guard or 2 rear guards, just because I feel like that would make it slightly better, but I still really much like this card, and by the assumption that they didn't, I'm assuming they're going to give us an Aqua Force card that allows us to stand the Vanguard, because this would be so much more dangerous if you could. So, 4 copies of Cobalt, because art's really good, numbers are terrifying, and you will, if you can get off that third ability, your opponent will most likely die at a turn unless they have a bunch of guards going into it. 4 of. Gift-wise, 5XL1s, 5XL2s, they are both very similar in the sense that when they're acquired, they both become a no front or rear guard circle, and they go top left and top right and alternate between the two. That is a rule in the tournaments, and if you don't do that, you will be disqualified. For XL1, wait, did I call them 4s earlier? If I called them 4s, I meant XL. XL1, when acquired, it goes on a front row circle, or it makes a new front row circle, and the unit on that circle is +10 during your turn. And XL2, it also becomes a new circle, and when the new circle is made, you draw a card, and then the unit on there gets +5 during your turn. This one's for consistency, this one's for power. Pick this one. Just pick this one. While the attacks for this thing don't need to hit, you want them to at least force out guarding power, so you're going to want the XL2, even if it's going to make the unit on it weaker, it's at least going to probably make you have a board that can hit later over one unit that can't hit. So 5XL2, I don't imagine it going further than 3 gifts each, so go for the XL2, but if you want to kill them quickly, because maybe since this doesn't require them to be at grade 3, and they're like 2 or 3 damage before you go into your attack phase, yeah, go XL1. Feel free. If you're planning on getting all of the effects off, go for it, because they can't really stop you. Go for the XL1, but normally you should go for XL2. And then quick shield when one of you uses attack is +5k for the battle. Standard discard fodder, except this time we don't have discard fodder outside of the PG. So for once, use this like a 5k shield. Congratulations, you get to keep a 5k shield. Yay, so nice. Woohoo. Doesn't do anything though, so use it to use it. And then that's it for the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this is one of my favorite decks, as you all know, based off of my commentary during this one. I love standing rear guards. This deck being able to stand rear guards outside of being on Cobalt is really good. The fact that Cobalt has an ability that just gives him power every time a rear guard swings makes him a lot stronger, and if we had more rear guard restands, it'd be a lot more dangerous. And if you really go for the try-hard moment and you're going first, your opponent's going to lose. Let's be fair. If you're going first, because it requires no grade 3s for its abilities, your opponent's going to lose if you remotely try, because that costs like 2 soul and 1 counterblast, or 2 counterblast and 1 soul. Yeah, they're dying that turn, even if they start sacking triggers like this one tomorrow, unless they're willing to drop like 2 PGs that turn. So, yep, that's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you on the next one. Never forget to stand up, your vanguards.